Good Saturday afternoon, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris is back for some more Hearthstone arena action. We're really excited to see Priest. Haven't played Priest in a long time, and for some reason, Priests are the Priest videos are the most popular videos on my channel. So I'll be happy to do another Priest one for you guys. In the last patch, so in between the wipe and the patch that came out on Thursday, I played Priest 6 times. I had 2 9-win arenas, 2 8-win arenas, and 2 6-win arenas. So that was really good performance for the Priest, but I will say one thing as we pick up Holy Fire here for some healing and removal, that you have to be a little bit careful because there are lots of people playing Priests, so it's not like you can just play Priest and win. I mean, when I played Priest, a lot of the people that I beat to get to my really solid arena runs were Priests, and like I mentioned before, it's hard to get an advantage in the arena when you are playing against the same deck or the same class that you are. It's nice to play a different class from everyone else. So if you do play Priest, it's a strong class, but you do have to be good. You're not going to just get your wins for free. Here I'm going to take Shadow Madness. This is essentially removal. I mean, there are times where it won't work. That's what makes it a balanced card, but when it does work, you spend 4 mana and you kill 2 of your opponent's creatures, which is outrageous, because it's kind of like a multi-shot, but you can pick any 2 creatures that you want. Well, that have 3 power and 3 toughness and so forth. Gadgets and Auctioneer is neat, but this is removal, so it's a very strong pick. Alright, well here I think I'm actually going to go for the light spawn. Yeah, the Novice Engineer draws a card, but what I found when I play games is that when someone plays the Novice Engineer, like one of my opponents, I'm pretty much always happy about it. Because they're spending, like, all of, or half of, or a third of their mana to put an irrelevant body on the board and draw a card. And sure, this will, deal some damage and take up a hit or 2, but it's not like it's not impacting the game as much as a 5/5 for 4 mana is. And sure, this can be silenced and it gets weaker as it hits stuff and so forth, but I just think it's such a strong card to start with. Plus Priests have, Power Word Shields and Temple Enforcers and stuff to make it even better, so I think it's important to grab it there. Here, we do already have a 4-drop creature, but the Senjin Shieldmaster is so much better than either of these 2 guys that I'm just going to pick them here and add to my 4-drops. Alright, here we have a little bit of an unfortunate pick. Priests obviously don't have weapons, so this is just a 4/6 for 5 mana, which is okay, but not fantastic. These cards aren't that great, though, so it's a bit tricky here. I'm going to grab the Worgen Infiltrator because at least it doesn't die to hero abilities, and you can let it sit and wait to trade into something. Okay, well, let's see. I really don't like Lord of the Arena. Inner Fire is a card I'd like to have 1 of in the deck, but Argent Squire is also a card I'd like to have. Well, since I just took a 1-drop, and we have a lot of the draft to go, I may be, forced by a bad pack to take another 1-drop. We'll take the Inner Fire here, make sure that makes its way into the deck, and hope that we don't get, like, an awkward pack where, like, Inner Fire is the only good card or anything like that. Alright, well, here we have an awkward choice. I don't like this Master Swordsmith pretty much at all. The Twilight Drake is yet another 4-drop, and I'm not a big fan of it. It's most of the time just going to be a Chillwind Yeti, or worse, and it can be silenced. We'll grab a Master Spell. I've never actually played with this card. Let's go ahead and see if it's good or not. Do a little bit of research. Alright, Gorobashi Berserker is nice. It does die to Shadow Word Pain and to Stampeding Kodos, but it survives Flame Strikes and Weapons, and I'd rather have him than the harder hitting, but more expensive Archmage. Alright. Oh no! Everything good is in the same place. I would have loved it if one of these cards had been in the pack where I picked the Worgen Infiltrator and the Inner Fire. These are all really good. I think the Silver Moon Guardian has to be passed over because I've got enough 4-drops. So basically, if I don't take the Boulder Fist Ogre here, I risk not having a late game. But the Northshire Cleric is just so outrageously good early on. I'm going to pick it here. So this is where being a Priest is nice, because Priests do have a class-specific common, the Temple Enforcer, which is a 6/6 for 6. It's a premier late-game card. And like in my last draft, which was Rogue, you notice I suffered because I didn't have much of a late game, and part of the reason for that was that Rogues don't have a class-specific common 6-mana creature, which that's actually like any good. So it's nice being a Priest. I'm a little bit less likely to get screwed in the last 2/3 of my draft and not get late game, so I'm sad to pass on the Ogre, but I'd be even more sad not to have a Northshire Cleric. Alright, well, Holy Fire is removal, but it is expensive removal, so am I willing to pass it over, or am I willing to take it over a Violet Teacher? Yeah, I am, because 5 damage kills just about anything, and the life gain could be extremely significant. Okay, so here, I've seen people do great things with a Shield Bearer, But I think the Jungle Panther's got to be the pick. It trades up against harder creatures and gives you some outs. Alright, well, the Tiger's nifty, but I'm going to take a Boulder Fist Ogre because it's really, really good late game. Oh, man. Engine Shield Master. But no, I'm going to take a Temple Enforcer because those are just incredibly outrageously good. Here, the Tauren Warrior is a taunt. I don't have any taunt except for the Senjin Shield Master, so even though it's mediocre, I will grab it. I'm finding that taunt is one of those things that, you know, some bad players some bad players overrate and some good players underrate. I do think it's important to have some taunt. Yes, this, you know, trades pretty nicely at 2 power and draws a card, but let's make sure we get a little bit of taunting action in this deck. Oh my god, everything good is in the same place. Crap. I could take a second North Track Cleric, which could potentially lead to some just absolute blowout victories. The Cult Master, I think, needs to be passed over here because I have enough 4-drops, and the North Track Cleric pretty much has the same role of drawing cards for you. The question is, do I take Power Word Shield? And the answer is, let's make sure that I get this Power Word Shield. It's really nice with Light Spawn, and it's just nice to have in general. Sad not to have a second North Track Cleric, but I do want to make sure I have one of these Power Words there. Alright, now the Argent Squire is a card that I like, but since I already have 2 2-drops, Northstar and the Worgen Infiltrator, I don't feel as bad for not taking this. This guy, though, is a premier 4-drop, so we're going to go ahead and pick him up. I could take the best 2-drop in the game or another Chillwind Yeti. This is a tricky call. I mean, I do have lots of 4-drops here, but almost no early game. Just 1, 2 cards that can be played on turn 2 or less. So yeah, we're going to take the Imani Berserker, although the Chillwind Yeti is a better card in the abstract. On pick 1 of a draft, you should definitely take the Chillwind Yeti. Here, it's important to make sure we have some early game so that we can survive to see our Chillwind Yetis come into play. This pack is absolutely heartbreaking because you really want both of these cards. I'm going to take the Holy Nova. Mind Control, games sometimes are decided before turn 8, and Mind Control is great, but sometimes if you're behind, you will just, you know, lose. You'll steal a creature, and then your opponent will ignore the creature you just stole and kill you. Holy Nova actually helps you get to turn 8 and survive, and it is an extremely good card. Now, if this were anything less good, I would just grab the Mind Control, but Holy Nova is nice to have one of in your deck. Alright, well, here it's between the Chillwind Yeti or the Shadow Word Death. Shadow Word Death does give you some outs against bigger creatures. The problem is I already have those outs in the form of Holy Fire. Granted, some things do not die to Holy Fire. Chillwind Yeti is really, really good, though. It's a tough call here. I'm gonna try something crazy. We might regret this. I'm gonna try Chillwind Yeti. Well, this will be for education purposes. Chillwind Yeti is just such a good 4-drop. It just dominates the game when it drops. And we'll see. We'll see if I miss the Shadow Word Death or not. Third Holy Fire seems a little bit greedy. Then again, Defender of Argus, I just have so many 4-mana creatures. It's really likely now that the Defender of Argus isn't going to be able to drop and do anything. So I don't want a third Holy Fire. That's too much expensive removal. We'll take the Injured Blade Master. I do need some more 2-drops and 3-drops, and this guy is a 4/3 for 3 mana, which is totally fine. Okay, well, why is everything good in the same place in this draft? Christ on a pony. So another North Star Cleric would be great, another Imani Berserker would be great, but Shadow Word Pain, this is premier removal. Stops anything in the early game. We're just gonna grab it there. Okay, Sunwalker is definitely nice. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3 creatures that I could consider big. So although I have these 2 expensive removal spells in the Holy Nova, I think it's important to grab the Sunwalker here. Make sure we have some late game stoppage. Lightspawn is, in the abstract, I think the best card here, but we have so many 4-drops, so we need more early game. Let's take the Flesh-Eating Ghoul. Well, the Imp Master is good, but I don't have any Cult Masters, I don't have any Stormwind Champions, any Frostwolf Warlords. There's nothing in particular here that I can see that synergizes with having lots of 1/1s on the field, with the possible exception of the Flesh-Eating Ghoul. So what we're going to do is grab the Wild Pyromancer, simply because I don't have enough 2-drops here, and I want to make sure there are things that I can play on turn 2. Alright, Mind Vision. I've learned that you have to wait a little bit before using this card, because every time I use it, if I'm the first player, I just always end up stealing the frickin' coin. So I'm happy to pick that up here. Alright, we're getting another 4-drop. Definitely the best one here is that Dark Iron Dwarf. The Divine Shield's nice, but Dark Iron Dwarf for pumping up stats is really good. I'm actually considering the Magma Rager here. I mean, it does just die against mages, and rogues and druids, you know, take a bit of damage for killing this thing, so it's really just mages against which this is a problem. This is not a good card. I think it's actually understated for 3 mana. If you look at the patterns, a generic 3-mana creature should have a total stat value of 7. This guy only has 6. Who am I kidding? I'm going to take another Ogre. So this does mean I have 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures that are 6 mana. So I've got a really great late game. We just need to survive to get there. That seems fine, though. Oh, this pack is garbage. Well, we're taking Thoughtsteal. These cards are just totally unpalatable. And More taunt or more explosivity? Let's take the explosivity here. And we end with a legendary. Oh man, people love these expensive legendaries. People just can't get enough of them. But honestly, I have a lot of late game. Oh man, Nat Pagle does draw cards, which is pretty good. Currently my only card draw is Power Word Shield and Northshire Cleric. Might be nice to just drop this dude down, draw some cards. I could use some more 2-drops. I think here, a lot of people like Ysera, but it's just so slow. You play it, then you draw the dream card, then on your next turn you can do the dream card thing. If I were to take one of these 9-mana dudes, I'd take the Alexstrasza, because it might be useful for, like, healing yourself later in the game. Yeah, alright, I'm going to pick it up here. This deck is a little bit more expensive than I'd like. I basically had the opposite problem as the Rogue deck, where I just saw too many expensive creatures, and not enough cheap stuff. In particular, our 2-drops are sorely lacking. So I'm going to be having to mulligan rather aggressively in these games to just maximize my odds of seeing the Northshire Cleric, the Worgen Infiltrator. I have the Amani Berserker in there, the Wild Pyromancer in there, and a Shadow Word Pain. So there's like 5 cards that I really want to see in my opening hand in this deck, and the rest can just sort of wait until later. But if we can make it to turn 4 and we're not, immediately losing, that's great. Alright, well, honestly, this is a fine curve. Let's ship back our legendary and just draw one different card. Alright, great. Well, as long as my opponent's not hyper-aggressive, we'll be okay. The only card here that dies to the dreaded turn 2 Fiery War Axe is the Horn Warrior. This has stealth, so it can trade before it dies, and this obviously just survives in high style. So yeah, it seems like pretty good. Alright, Power Word Shield. We even got a little bit of a buffer, which is nice. He's going to armor up. Okay, well, let's see what our card is and think. Boulder Fist Ogre. Well, it's tempting to just coin out one of these 3-drops. Get the party started. Yeah, let's go ahead and coin out this Panther. Basically, we're just trying to survive until the end game because we know that our end game is really good. So, I'll be really happy just to drop this down, have it wait for a creature that it can trade with, and then call it a day. Alright, Raging Worgen, that is a perfect card to trade this Panther into. Now, you don't want to play the Tauren Warrior here. It'll just die and trigger Wind Fury. I've got a couple of options here. One is I can actually Power Word Shield to make this a 4/4. Trade in, stay at 1 health. Warrior is not the best at dealing 1 point of damage to a solitary creature. I mean, Execute will kill it, but Execute will kill any damaged creature. Whirlwind will kill it, but he might be wanting to save that card, and Cleave is not usable yet because I don't have 2 creatures on the field. I could also just use Shadow Word Pain on this. But if I use Shadow Word Pain, I can still put the Power Word Shield on my Panther, so I'm going to just do this. Note that you can, even when your friendly creatures are in stealth, you can still activate them. Alright, what I'm actually going to do is kill the Worgen, because this allows me to put down my Amani Berserker. So I look like I'm playing an aggressive deck. I've got like a 3-drop, I coined it out, and then I play the 2-drop. But that's really just me getting a handful of good cards early on. And that's what I've been talking about in my previous videos. You don't need to play quote-unquote aggressive decks. You just need to have a few early game drops and you're totally fine. Cleave's not the best card here. It kills my Panther, but it triggers Enrage on the Berserker, and then you get smashed really hard. So I'm actually pretty safe from really just about any form of warrior removal here. He's gonna... Cruel Taskmaster is just about the best way he could have handled that Panther, so good on him. But it's a bit of a desperation move, because now... Let's see, I could play the Flesh-Eating Ghoul. It'll be a 3/3 for 3 with better stuff to come. No, let's just play a 4/5. And we'll trigger Enrage here. Amani Berserker showing itself why it's the best 2-drop in the game, in my opinion. I mean, it's just swinging for 5 damage next turn. It'll like kill Ascension Shield Master. It's just so awful to look at this when you're on the wrong side of it. Alright, what's my opponent going to do? Azure Drake? Wow. Alright, well I have a multitude of ways of dealing with that. Alexstrasza, man, this dragon just really wants to come on down to the happy farm. Okay, well, let's think carefully here. I could, of course, kill it with the Yeti. Problem with that is I'm exposing myself to 2 things. Number 1, Cleave. Number 2, Whirlwind. I don't really feel like doing that. Another option would, of course, be to just ignore it and hit for 9. Problem then is he's got the spell power. Now, what would that actually be relevant for? For warriors? Not much. Slam? No. But he could do the same thing. So what I'm actually going to do is make a bit of a conservative play here. I am just going to, oh wait, I'm a priest! Oh my god, I forgot that I'm a priest. Man, priests are so good, even I forget that I'm a priest. Yeah, what am I talking about? Of course I'm just gonna hit for 5 and then heal my Yeti. Alright, there we go. Now I'm safe from Whirlwind. At least my Yeti is. I don't care about losing the Amani Berserker. This is just a 2-minute creature. Yeah, it's got 5 attack, but it's just a 2-minute creature. I don't care about it. He can Whirlwind to kill that thing. That's totally fine. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that I am a priest. Alright, he's going to get 2 cards for this Argent Commander. Unless, of course, I use Holy Fire to kill it. So basically, my options are the following. I could play Boulder Fist Ogre, just put a big guy down, and accept the fact that he got 2 for 1 from this Argent Commander. That is a 6-mana creature, so good on him. I could also do this, and I am going to do this. Yeah, this seems like a good plan. I'm going to play Northside Cleric, heal my Yeti, draw a card. Another Boulder Fist Ogre. Oh man, this is starting to be a Wrecking Ball powerhouse. I'm going to then kill his Argent Commander and live to tell about it, beef up my Flesh-Eating Ghoul, smash my face, and then if I play this, I'm opening myself up to Mind Control tech, but this is actually fine. I'm okay with it. We're going to just play this down. It is a rare card. I don't care that much about exposing myself to it. So yeah, I think my opponent might have, well, I don't think he forgot that I'm a priest. Playing the Argent Commander there was clearly a good play, but it's really nice that I'm a priest and I could heal my own creatures. Alright, this is a case where the Shield Bearer is not impressive. This guy it's one of those things where it's a better card than some people say it is, but the problem with it is that it's only good if you play it on turn 1. Like any other time, it's just terrible. Okay, well I can actually Mass Dispel here. That does stop me from playing a Boulder Fist Ogre. So if I Mass Dispel here, what do I do? This becomes as useless 0/4. This doesn't draw him a card. This doesn't Wind Fury, although it doesn't actually matter in this case. You know, that seems fine. Let's do this. That seems totally fine. Let's do that. Get a card. Now we, of course, would like to kill this Worgen. I could heal the Yeti, draw a card. I really wish this Tauren would actually trade with the Worgen. No, we're just gonna use Shadow Word Pain. Let's not get a card. Let's just Shadow Word Pain this thing. So we're not gonna heal this turn. I'm not gonna get a card. I will kill the Loot Hoarder to activate Enrage for the future. Now I can just ignore that guy. So we'll swing. Oh man, could I have won that turn? I don't think so. No, because he had a Taunter here. I couldn't have won. I was thinking maybe I could have burned him out with Holy Fire. He's holding on to that Big Game Hunter for my Flesh-Eating Ghoul. Well played, sir. Well played. Do you have a Whirlwind to kill off my 2 other creatures? That would be a good move. I think I'd still be okay in this game just because I got the Boulder Fist Ogres here. Alright, he might still have a Whirlwind, and then the Flesh-Eating Ghoul would get awfully big. Yeah, Whirlwind would be really good for him. I mean, right now he's about to lose. I got 5, 9, 10, and then Holy Fire burns him out. Nope, he's just got Armor Up. That isn't going to do it, I'm afraid. Man, these Enraged creatures really bringing home the bacon. Let's see, Inner Fire is... I mean, that could have helped burn my opponent out, but I don't need the help here. Alright, well that was a really convincing game against Blackstorm the Warrior. We just had it from the beginning. Honestly, we just won that game pretty much with our superior cheap creatures. And the Chillwind Yeti. Really, now I have 2 Chillwind Yetis. One of them was always going to be a Chillwind Yeti. The other one could have been a Shadow Word Death. But in this particular case, really glad I had the Chillwind Yeti because it really clinched the game without even needing to go into the late game. As always, I'm going to play just a couple of games in this video to keep it short, although I realize that like 30 minutes is somewhat long by YouTube standards. Maybe as our generation gets older and everyone's attention span gets even shorter, I'll start just playing 1 game in the first video. But if you're liking how the arena is going, the remaining games will be placed, will be posted in an upcoming video. We're up against Sick the Priest. I wonder if he's got some sick moves. Ho! Okay. Alrighty, now I am second to play, which means I could actually play Mind Vision and, like, not steal a coin, which is cute, but I think would rather just play the Northside Cleric. I don't want to coin Mind Vision, that seems a little bit silly. We'll just save it for later and see what he's got. I have to say, like, when your opponent plays Mind Vision against you and you have a hand of good cards in the mid-game, it is, like, the worst feeling in the world. It's like, uh-oh, I hope he got the one bad card I'm holding, but I have no way of knowing. It's scary. Well, anyway, we're going into this next turn. It's pretty good. Assuming my opponent doesn't Shadow Word Pain the Northshire Cleric, which, by the way, he absolutely should. I've got some options here. I can just, of course, Shadow Word Pain his creature, or I could attack into it and heal. Get a card. Actually, now the Wild Pyromancer is also an option. This is tricky. I could Shadow Word... I mean, here's the thing. Basically, if my opponent has any sort of a spell, this Mana Addict becomes a 3/3 and just kills my Northshire Cleric. So, I don't really see much cause for, drawing a card here. That's what we'd call greedy. Let's just kill his creature. Let's respect the fact that priests have, lots of good cheap spells. Mind Vision, Power Word Shield, Shadow Word Pain, and just, leave it at that. Basically, like, if I had played the Wild Pyromancer there and the priest had Shadow Word Pain, then it would have been a total disaster because I would have just, he would have Shadow Word Pained my Wild Pyromancer. His Mana Addict would have been pumped and he could have killed the Northshire Cleric. Now, of course, I really wish I had another Shadow Word Pain for this Emperor Cobra. Got a couple of ways of dealing with this thing. Note that because of its ability, it will kill the Northshire Cleric after attacking into it, so I can't, attack in and heal. I could coin out the Sen'jin Shieldmaster and just trade it for the Emperor Cobra. That's him getting a little bit of value, 3-mana creature, trading up for a coin and a 4-mana creature, but it would allow the Northshire Cleric to stay alive. Now, let's see, if I play the Wild Pyromancer, he could actually run in, kill my Northshire Cleric, and then also kill another creature later on. So what we're going to do is, in fact, play the Sen'jin Shieldmaster and swing by. The Cobra was an incredibly good play there. And maybe if he didn't have Shadow Word Pain, then yeah, I wish I had gone about my last turn a different way. Like if I played my Wild Pyromancer and my opponent didn't have Shadow Word Pain, then I would have been better off. But this is a rare card, so I'd rather play around the common than around the rare. Master Spell, uh-oh. Okay. Well, he's going to get to kill 2 creatures off of this Cobra and also draw a card. Which is a little bit sad, for sure. I have my own Master Spell. Alright, I think we're going to do this here, because basically you might think, well, Boris, you're spending all your turn and this mass silence just to kill a card. I mean, is that really worth it? Keep in mind, what I'm doing here is essentially being able to keep my Sen'jin Shieldmaster on the board. Right now, there's no way that I can protect it, so I'm going to do this. And then kill his stupid thing and live to tell about it. So I think that was a totally fine play. Next turn, I've got a good play, Chillwind Yeti Mind Vision, so I'm basically saying my opponent, you need to have a good play this turn or you're going to fall behind. So what's he going to do? Alright, so far, 2 games. Master Spell is 2 for 2. I'm really happy I had it. See, look at this. This is what I'm talking about. I'm so happy he's playing this and doesn't have anything actually good to do. That was a very weak turn for my opponent. So basically, he drew a card off of this, but my Sen'jin can actually trade in with the Shattered Sun Cleric. So I've got a couple of options. One, I could Chillwind Yeti Mind Vision, and then just kill this Novice Engineer, then the Shattered Sun Cleric will kill my Sen'jin. I could also heal my Sen'jin and kill the Shattered Sun Cleric. Problem then is it goes down to 2 health, so the Novice Engineer trades against it anyway. So that might not be the best, unless, I play the Taunt, which actually survives against the Novice Engineer, and heal, kill. That's a bit of a slower way of taking things. You know what? I'm going to trust my instincts here. I'm going to just kill a creature, let these trade, play Yeti, play Mind Vision. Spellbreaker. Alright, so I know he has a Spellbreaker in his deck. That's actually quite valuable. And I got one myself, which could be very valuable as well if he has a Light Spawn or something. So Mind Vision is really great. Not only do you often get a really great card, but you get to see what your opponent has. Holy Nova. Well, that was a pretty good move, but it did take up his entire turn. And I know that at least one of the cards in his hand is not going to be useful against this Boulder Fist Ogre. Ba-boom. Alright, well, if he's got Shadow Word Death, of course, he'll use that. And he is 1 turn away from a Mind Control. Wow. Well, does he have a card to play with this? Otherwise, we're just going to run into it. Interesting. Well, that was a bit of a desperation move. I don't think he would have played this Legendary if he just, if all it's going to do is die. So we're going to go ahead and play the Temple Enforcer, buff up my Ogre, and kill his Legendary. Now this is definitely what we call a win-win situation, because now he's at turn 8, he can Mind Control here, sure, but whichever one he takes, I can just kill it with the other one. So if he doesn't have mind control, he's even worse off. So if he takes mind control, he basically clears my board, but then I have 8 mana and the entire turn to play out everything I want. I can like go boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. And he just spent his whole turn just killing my stuff. If he doesn't have mind control, which is like his best play, then he's even worse off, pretty much no matter what else he might have. Alright, looks like he does not have any mind control. Oh, does he? He was pointing at this. What could he have? He wouldn't Shadow Word Death this. Oh, wow. He's, oh my gosh, he's got a bunch of chumper nuggets. Alright. Shadow of Madness. You know what? This is a time where actually this card doesn't work very well. I can steal either one of these, but it doesn't actually kill either of his creatures. They can run into each other and die. Now what I could do is actually Shadow of Madness, Acolyte of Pain, and then like run in. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I'm going to try this. I don't know if it works, okay? But I never understand the timing for the Wild Pyromancer. It's after you cast a spell. Okay, so let's do a little bit of education here. All right, I play Wild Pyromancer. I play Shadow Madness, steal the Acolyte of Pain. Then the Wild Pyromancer triggers, hurts the Acolyte of Pain for 1 damage. I draw a card. It also hurts the Pint-Sized Summoner. I run in. They both die, and then I still get to swing for 12. Okay, this is the move for sure. I could have, like, played a Spellbreaker, silenced it, whatever, but I'm pretty sure this is the best way to do it. So first I yoink it, then the Wild Pyromancer triggers, everything gets damaged, I draw a card from the Acolyte, I run into the Pint-Sized Summoner, they both die, I draw another card, I'm going to heal my Ogre above Holy Nova, range, swing, and pass the turn. Okay, I really do think Papa Boris displayed some mad skills right there, because I can't imagine there was any better play than that one. Drawing 2 cards and killing both of his creatures, and also putting something else on the board. Wow, that is the best I've ever seen the Wild Pyromancer be. Of course, you can't be like, well, you always got to take Wild Pyromancer, because in case you have Shadow Madness on an Acolyte of Pain, then you get double duty there. Ah, he used Inner Fire to nerf my Boulder Fist Ogre. That's totally fine, I'm alright with that. And this is a desperation play, because it's obviously just going to die. Now I have to be careful here. If I were to Holy Nova, he would draw 3 cards. This is whenever a minion is healed, not just a friendly minion, but any minion. The Archmage is actually kind of strong here because it survives against both my guys. It's not quite a 2-for-1 though, because it doesn't quite kill the Temple Enforcer. Now I have to be careful here. I don't particularly want to heal anything, because the Northshire Cleric would let my opponent draw cards, and he's really low on cards, so I'd like to just, avoid his outs if I can. So what I think we're going to do is the following. Let's play Flesh-Eating Ghoul on this turn. Let's also kill the Northshire Cleric. Then, you know what? I'd say this guy's done his job. Let's just kill this guy. Yeah, it's a 2-for-1, but I have card advantage. I can take it. I'm going to heal the Temple Enforcer to keep it above Holy Nova range. And with 4 mana left, let's play Lightspawn. Guy's big. Mind Control Tech would be pretty good, although anything he steals I could kill with one of my other things, which is pretty good for him, but not the greatest. And that's a rare card, which he's not likely to have. I could have played both Flesh-Eating Ghouls and then had 2 5/3s, but I'd rather have a 5/5 than a 5/3. Shadow Word Death, alright, fair enough. I think you just top-deck that. Silence on my Flesh-Eating Ghoul. Interesting choice, silencing the Flesh-Eating Ghoul. You could have silenced the Lightspawn, which would have taken more total damage off my board, but also would have kept the potential for the Flesh-Eating Ghoul to get bigger. So that was a reasonable choice. I think we need to deal with this Spellbreaker. Actually, it was good to do the Ghoul, because the Ghoul would have been a good way to kill this guy. Well, I think this Ogre has earned his keep. So what we're going to do is play another Flesh-Eating Ghoul, trade here, play another Ogre. I don't need the Sunwalker. It doesn't hit as hard as the Ogre, and I don't need protection. So we're just going to swing on by. Well, this game is absolutely bonkers. I have board dominance, card dominance, health dominance. Sick the Priest is wondering, man, Priests are so fucking overpowered. How do they get to be this good? And why aren't I the one who's crushing my opponent? Okay, well, I think the move here, I could just silence. Can I just silence this and win? 10. Let's not get too carried away here doing other stuff. Let's just win the game. And give a well played. Well, these are some of the most crushing wins I've had on camera in a long time, so hopefully the arena continues in this vein. Thank you so much for watching. If you like how the arena is going, do please stay tuned. The rest of the videos will be coming up shortly. And if you like the video, please like and or subscribe. We shall see you soon with the rest of the games.